This is Good Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Chuck Thompson. Good morning, Chuck. How's it going?
Good morning, Liberty Nate.
That's my name.
Thurston.
Yeah, that was my given name. Okay, so it is currently Wednesday. It's the first day of October, which is crazy to me. It hit me this morning. I was like, wow.
Q4, baby.
Like, Halloween is at the end of this month, and then it's like Thanksgiving and shopping for the holidays, and then it's Christmas, and then we do it all over again afterwards.
Next year.
And next year, I'll tell you what, that's our year for sure. And I'm gonna slow things down and try to remember next year, because this year, man, holy crap!
Yeah, we're in Q4. We better push them sales, baby.
Yes,
get them final closes done.
Everything's going so fast right now, but you know it isn't going fast right now. It's great. It's official. Charlie, the government is shut down. Yeah.
Today's the day we celebrate.
It's so good. It feels so good when it shuts down like that.
Y'all notice the world still currently spinning?
Yeah, everything's okay right now. So far, like, war hasn't broken out. People going to work, going shopping, doing their thing. Everything seems fine. Non-essential people are going to get cut out for a bit, and all of them should be fired because when you're using money that is stolen from people's paychecks, you should only have people that are deemed essential working. It's insane to me that there's like, oh yeah, 90% of that agency is not essential. Yeah, exactly. Let's get rid of it. Gone.
It's mind-boggling.
But we still do it.
And they're going to get back pay, by the way, when the government ramps back up.
Yep.
All those people will get their savings account reimbursed by your tax dollars, and they'll become necessary. Not essential, but they'll be necessary again somehow.
Yeah. Just some of what might happen here. We're gonna find out. I've heard a lot about how Trump might use this time to restructure some agencies, to fire some more people. And by the way, all those people who took the retirement offer, basically, from the Doge days, back in the early Doge days. Look at that, you got a second cell phone. How about that? That's clever. You got that new 17 right there. How about that? It's orange, which is weird. Anyhow, all those people who took that early retirement from the Doge days, they're gone. So that's what we kept seeing posts going around saying 100,000 people are about to leave the federal workforce, and that's awesome. But now we got, like, I'd say a solid million of them that also need to go. And we're going to find out if they're going to just furlough some of these people, if they're going to do layoffs, if they're, permanent firings. Is that what they're going to do? If a government shutdown occurs, the president has broad latitude to restructure the federal workforce. During a shutdown, all government programs and activities without funding stop, except for limited exceptions. This is from a guy from Center and Budget and Policy Priorities. The executive branch has some discretion in how it interprets the scope of those exceptions. There's a law governing shutdowns, and that law still applies, I guess. It prohibits agencies from spending non-appropriated federal funds except in emergency situations. Presidents have the authority...
What's the emergency?
No, I'm not sure. Presidents have the authority to designate which federal employees are essential and must remain on duty and which are non-essential and subject to furlough. During past shutdowns, the White House Office of Management and Budget, OMB, has published a list of employees deemed essential. And so they get to do that right now. And any of the non-essential people, I meant what I said at the beginning of the show. They need to go. It's absolutely ridiculous that I have to work, or Charlie has to work, or you guys listening right now have to go work to pay people that the government itself says are not essential. They got to go. And so I'd say we keep this shutdown. Let's keep it going.
It seems like the government's going to run with the essential folks.
Yeah.
And we just need to, let's stay right here. In fact, let's get rid of all non-discretionary spending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want discretionary only. That's a start.
Only discretionary?
Yeah.
You don't want the things that they have to spend? You want those gone? You want Social Security to be gone?
Sorry.
I think you meant it backwards.
Yes. Flip that.
Let's get rid of all discretionary spending.
Change
Although,
the non.
yes.
Change the non.
Although the answer is yes, still to both. This is happening because Republicans and Democrats can't come to an agreement. The Democrats want to add in something like $100 billion more spending a year back that was cut from the big, beautiful bill from things like Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act subsidies. They want to add that back in. And right now, the Republicans want to act like they care about spending less money. And so that's basically the two negotiating positions that we have.
And blame the other side.
Yeah, they want to be able to blame the other side.
It's a Democrat shutdown. It's a Republican shutdown.
And possibly they want it to be a shutdown so they can come in and fire some people. Or there could be some other reasons that they want to shut down right now. I'll show you that here in a second. Yeah, so that's the current case. The White House and Republicans keep saying that it's Democrats want to give illegal immigrants health care. And that's why they're not going to negotiate with them. It's not exactly like to the letter of the law what they're saying, but some of these states, they'll take the federal subsidies, the federal Medicaid dollars, they'll use that so they don't have to spend the dollars, and then they'll have their own programs where they end up paying for healthcare for illegal aliens. And so in effect, like you're kind of subsidizing the state programs to pay for people that, some people say shouldn't be here. That's their opinion. So
I don't care.
There's another, listen, I have to mention it. We're going to be doing a good job. There's also something rather convenient happening during this shutdown. We didn't really tell you the news, but the news was like as of last week, or maybe at the end of the week before that, was that Thomas Massie finally got the 218 signatures needed to force a vote on the release of the Epstein files. The way he got that was that there was a new Democrat representative coming in Arizona who's going to get sworn in, and she was going to vote for it, and they were going to hit the 218 signatures. Since this shutdown is happening, her swearing in is postponed until the government comes back in the session. So if she would have been sworn in, say, before the shutdown happened, then they would have officially hit that 218. But since she hasn't yet, they're not actually at the 218 to force a vote on the Epstein files.
They can't find one more? Like she's the
one.
She's the one. You can't find one more?
I got 4 Republicans.
Flip one more vote?
No, they're holding steady right now from what I can tell. I'm just saying that it's wild how these things happen. Like it's
either a coincidence or planned.
They left their session early. Like Massie gets this petition going and gets a lot of people to sign on. And at that time, all the Epstein uproar is happening. We're all talking about it. And they're like, all right, well, we're going to go on break and we'll be back in a month. And they left like a day early to leave and go take the month off, And so that's kind of weird. And then now the shutdown happens right as they're about to hit the 218 for the signatures. And I'm just saying.
It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird. Just a little weird. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory. I don't know. You guys tell me.
We're just reporting what we're seeing.
Yeah. Since it is Wednesday and we used to do a thing called White Pill Wednesday back when they were white pills, I wanted to play a couple funny videos for you guys, and then we're going to make fun of Joy Reid and Sonny Hostin before we get out of here today. And then there's one good thing here that I have towards the end. So Trump had this meeting with Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, and they did a little press conference afterwards. Trump got in some hot water over this because for some reason this is a racist video. I don't see why it's racist. You guys have seen it, I'm sure, but I thought it was funny. And then, by the way, he doubled down and posted another one yesterday. And so that's just the kind of trolling that you get from our troll in chief right now. Here's this video. We'll start off with that.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bullshit. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too.
posted by the President of the United States, which is pretty wild. I can't believe Chuck Schumer actually said all of those things.
Oh,
I mean,
know.
that's wild.
It's
That's wild.
that's the real, breaking news here. That Chuck Schumer would just say that on a hot mic.
He said the quiet part out loud. That's wild. And so people were talking about him posting this racist AI video out there, and so he posted another one because that's what Trump does.
Disgusting video, and we're going to continue to make clear bigotry will get you nowhere. We are fighting to protect the health care of the American people in the face of an unprecedented Republican assault.
Okay.
Now he's trolling.
Now he's just trolling people.
Yeah.
Does that make your vote worth it?
That's great.
You know, do you feel better? Do you feel more solid about your vote in 2024 now?
Yeah.
Getting to see that kind of stuff.
Overall, I just got to tell you, I don't feel very good right now. I'm
Like
just saying
health wise?
that. Yeah.
Oh, well, let's talk about Pfizer. Here's maybe
Just let you
they
know,
got.
if I don't respond normally,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling great. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you gonna throw up?
I don't know.
Need like a Tums or something like that?
I feel like my
Need some Tylenol?
stomach's about to like cramp,
Yeah.
and I'm feeling maybe a little dehydrated and
Remember that one day we thought like your appendix burst
Little
live
out of
on the
burp.
show?
yeah, feel a little out of breath. I feel kind of spacey.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you should
Just
do.
let you
though.
know.
Yeah. You should quit being a bitch about it.
Yeah.
So, I'm not gonna go. I'm kidding with you, man. I'm sorry. I made you feel like crap.
That's what I'm going to do.
You're sticking it out. You're still right here. You're in the chair. You're on camera. You're up to the microphone. So Trump announced this deal with Pfizer yesterday, and in some ways, like I'll look at it as a good thing, even though I don't agree with the tactics that how we got there, and I am not a fan of Pfizer, of course, and that's what a lot of people are bringing up. One of the big deals is that they did a negotiation to get most favored nation pricing on drugs for Medicaid, which could in fact save the government and people a lot of money. So that would be good. Now, the way that he really got here was by imposing a 100% tariff on companies that were manufacturing their drugs overseas, unless they are currently building a drug manufacturing plant here in the United States, or if they come to the table and make this deal with Trump, then he'll give them a 3-year exclusion like he did for Pfizer. And so that's probably how he negotiated them into this position, that's offering these drugs a little bit cheaper price. And they're also going to do a direct-to-consumer like site that people can go and not purchase through all the middlemen's that are out there in between you and the pricing that the drug company actually has for the drugs.
PBMs.
Yeah, all the pharmacy benefit managers out there, where you can go and get some drugs at like 50 to 80% discounts off of what they have as the list prices. Okay. They said some good stuff like we essentially pay for all the research into these drugs, and we essentially subsidize all these countries overseas who have price controls on the drugs. Like we've talked about this plenty of times. The reason they can do price controls in other countries is because we don't have price controls here. And so they'll take making like 0.5% off of all of these billions of people over here, and then they'll make all the money over here that they possibly can. Plus we're fat and sick anyway. And so there's a lot of money to be made here in the US. They can do that because instead of needing to make enough profit off of all those other countries to pay for new research and development, they'll just make it all off of us. And so that's a situation that we're in. It's a tough one to get out of because it's tough for us to control the healthcare programs and policies of other countries. Like it's a tough thing for us to do. And so I'm not going to go into full details on this deal because I haven't spent a lot of time on it. I have, though, seen a couple really big posts going around. They also announced the $70 billion investment into research, cancer drugs, stuff like that. And I'll just say there's a couple really big posts going around, like top posts when you search this Pfizer thing, saying that the government just gave Pfizer $70 billion. And I just wanted to set the record straight on that. It's not a defense of Pfizer, but all they announced was that Pfizer is committing to spend $70 billion on this research. They weren't handed a $70 billion contract by the U.S. government.
Well, that's about half of what they received for all the COVID shots.
I know, like, de facto, they get so much money from the U.S. government in other ways. You could say that that's 70
so we got
billion.
$140 billion for COVID vaccines, and we're going to reinvest $70 billion of that. Thanks.
Yeah. So that's, there's, like I said, there's some big posts going around saying that we just gave them $70 billion after all the people they killed and all the terrible things they did and no justice for them. And I just, I'm fine criticizing Pfizer and criticizing the deal and stuff like that, but I don't want to criticize it based on things that aren't true. And so as I look further into this, I just wanted to put that out there for people that's not currently the case, as from what I can see. Okay, now for a little bit more fun. This clip of Joy Reid was going around. Of course, this is going to be on Dumb Bleep of the Week, but this is Charlie's last day until October 13th, at least, something like that, on the show. And this clip of Joy Reid sort of went viral yesterday. And so I thought we should, let me refresh and see how many views it's at now. Oh, that's what's still out on the, sorry, that's just a repost. Okay, there we go. 10,000 reposts from M Wokeness. It says Joy Reid on the fascist agenda. They want to take us back to no income tax, no regulations, earn what you want, family inherits everything. Now, on its face, okay, first off, point of order here. She doesn't mention a fascist agenda in the. I went painstakingly and watched the interview, which is on BET, and I sat through this entire part of the interview.
But it was wonderful.
I sat through about 15 minutes of it, and now she's talking specifically about Project 2025 and this other project called Project Esther, which is really about combating anti-Semitism, which I don't agree with because many of the things they call anti-Semitism are just people who are against women and children getting blown up in Gaza. And so I don't think I want to lump that in with anti-Semitism. You don't even have to be pro-Hamas to be against Israel's conduct and the war on Gaza. And so I don't agree with that. But she's linking these two things together. Maybe she's talking about fascism, like de facto talking about fascism, but she doesn't say the word, just so you guys know.
So you're saying the way they're qualifying this video.
The reason the video went so viral is because End Wokeness said Joy Reid on the fascist agenda. I believe that without that qualifier for what she said, it probably wouldn't have gone so viral because that makes it such a stupid statement. First off, a fascist agenda is one where there's not any taxes and you can keep your money and we're going to have less government so that's not a way to...
Doesn't make a lick of sense.
It's not a way to tell people that fascism is bad, at all. And anytime you see...
what she says is still real stupid, though.
Oh, yeah, it's real dumb. But anytime you see a 19-second clip that cuts someone off before they even finish the sentence, you should probably be aware that 20 seconds would have made it a less viral video for whatever reason. There's a reason it's 19. So here's the 19 seconds. It's hilarious. But here we go.
That if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern. They need people to want fewer things. I'm sure.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Sign me up for that one. Whatever that is right there. And the fact that they, in the conversation, they are opposing that as a bad thing.
Yeah.
This is a terrible evil that they're trying to go back towards.
You can earn your money, not get it stolen by the government.
Yeah.
Don't have the government telling you what to do. And then you can leave that to your children if you want to.
God, those authoritarians. Tell you what, this must be stopped.
How is that horrible? How can you, that comes out of your mouth and you're like, that's the worst idea
That's
ever.
So terrible. It's so terrible.
Does she not want to leave any money to? Maybe she doesn't have a family.
Yeah, I have no idea. On Dumb Bleep of the Week, I'll probably go into a little bit more what she's talking about, because she's also talking about Project 2025 and this Project Esther, and she's talking about how they want to force women back into the home and out of the workforce and stuff. And there's not anything in there in Project 2025 about like stopping women from working. In fact, like when they're talking about traditional families and stuff, they're talking about man and woman, like a married man and woman having a child. And that's what they're talking about, like with traditional families, but they're not really saying like, yes, and women that must be in the kitchen cooking. And she spends a lot of time talking about that. So I'll do a little bit more of that on Dumb Bleep of the Week. I've got one more clip here.
Well, that's just really dumb because no one's forcing that. It's just there are people out in the culture talking about the natural desires of women tend to be, they fit more of the realm of stay-at-home mom, nurturing, taking care of people. That's the typical natural desire. Now, it's not true for everyone, but there's a culture shift that we have gone through over the last couple decades where we've told women to focus on careers, and that's the most important thing. And then they hit 30 and they're like, oh God, I'm not married and I don't have a kid yet and I wanted kids.
Yeah.
And now, you don't have as much time left. And so I see it all over TikTok and Instagram. I mean, there's a lot of even women themselves coming out being like, I wish I had a man to provide for me. I would love to, the feminine urge is what they call it, to be soft and nurturing and stay at home and take care of things at the house and not have to go to my job, my 9 to 5 and all of that. So but there's no force. It's just, there are people out there like Charlie Kirk was talking about, hey, like this might be a better path that kind of got shouted down the last 40 years. Maybe your innate natural desire is to be a stay-at-home mom. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I want to make it easier for men to be able to be providers so that more women can be stay-at-home moms if they want to be that.
What she gets to in that is that, yes, first off, they want to do those things, but it's because they want to go back to a world where there were no income taxes and there were no business regulations. And if you made money, you could give it back. And so you look at, well, at what time did we have that? Well, who was allowed to vote and all of these things? But there's no reason, if you want no taxes and you want no business regulations, you wouldn't have to force women back into the workforce to obtain those things. Now, you might need to take away their right to vote to get those things. But no, you wouldn't need to force them. That was a slight joke there at the end, just a little bit. Here's a clip from Pete Hegseth talking yesterday about all the fat troops, and I'll give you Sonny Hostin's response to that, and we'll be getting out of here.
I wish they would have panned the crowd.
I saw a couple shots of the crowd. I mean, the uniforms get tight eventually. And I'm not sure if they're going to grandfather in some of these grandfathers that are out there in the crowd.
Or what about the commander-in-chief? Is he held to the same standard?
No, this is just for enlisted men.
This is for the subordinates. No, he said officers too. I mean,
he did say, that's right. Yeah, officers, all the generals, the admirals, all the people that are there. Yeah.
Yeah, literally everyone.
Everyone.
Except for maybe
not the commander.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. We'll see.
I don't want my son serving alongside troops who are out of shape or in combat unit with females who can't meet the same combat arms physical standards as men, or troops who are not fully proficient on their assigned weapons, platform, or task, or under a leader.
There must have really been like there was like a ground problem, like
with the camera, with Fox's camera.
They got
this
like
event.
This is like, we had this issue yesterday. There were some sound issues going on at this event. Okay, sorry, that's not important. I just want to complain. It drives me nuts when there's sound problems.
Who was the first, but not the best. Standards must be uniform, gender neutral, and high. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the Joint Force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year.
So
now, if you
will
don't,
be tests.
Yeah, if you don't meet the height requirement the first time, how do you bump that number up for the second test?
It's height and weight.
Height
BMI.
and weight.
You should say BMI.
Okay.
If you're at a certain height, you should be within a certain weight range.
Let's see. Here's Sunny Hostin on The View being confused about why you would want these kind of standards.
Befuddled by why he did that. The optics were terrible, meaning all of our top military brass are all in one place, and we spent $6 million to get them there. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. It also didn't make a lot of sense to me that he was saying that he was going to toughen physical standards and review the anti-hazing policy by sort of implementing a hazing policy. And then also he said he was going to return to the highest male standard for combat positions because the troops were fat. I don't understand how that was supposed to be an uplifting message for our military.
Maybe he's referring to Colonel Sanders.
It was really a bizarre thing. He started talking about woke DEI policies. By the way, there are no gender quotas in the military. By the way, he fired more than a dozen military leaders, many of them people of...
So she says an important thing there, woke DEI policy. She says, by the way, there are no gender quotas in the military. There are, by default, gender, not quotas. They're like, oh, we have to get a certain amount of women in here. They did, in fact, reduce standards to accept and retain more women. In fact, this just happened back in 2022.
And fat men.
Yeah, and older men as well. This piece from The Hill, this is from 2022. So Army approves reduced physical fitness standards for women and older soldiers. Following a three-year review, the Army has scrapped plans to use the same physical fitness test for all soldiers, choosing instead to have some reduced standards to allow women and older soldiers to pass. The decision follows a RAND-led study that found men were more easily passing the new, more difficult Army combat fitness test compared to women and older soldiers who were failing at noticeably higher rates. That 6-event test developed in 2019 was an expansion from 3 events, push-ups, sit-ups, and runs soldiers had done prior. Let me get to some of these things in here. About 44% of women failed the test from October 2020 to April 2021, compared to about 7% of men, military.com found at the time. It's interesting numbers there. Looking through here. The revised test uses new scoring scales and updated test events, which will allow women and older male soldiers to do slightly less than some of the events and still pass, such as in the deadlift, where they will pick up less weight. Women and older men get slightly longer to complete the run. So when she comes out and she says, by the way, they don't have gender quotas for people in the military. Yeah, but they saw...
Or DEI standards.
Yeah, they don't have that in the military.
This is DEI.
But they did see that women were failing these tests at higher rates than men, and so they lowered the standards for women and older men to be able to meet those standards. And this is not this is just about the Army. It's just the Army here. The others have done this as well. Some of them did that way before. And so, yeah, I don't know why she was so confused about this. I feel like it's a pretty straightforward, smart thing that all of the soldiers should be in peak physical condition. And if someone is too weak, that they shouldn't be there, and that you shouldn't be like, oh, well, yeah, technically kind of weak there, not going to be able to carry her brother out of the... when he goes down, they're not gonna be able to do that. But she is a woman, so
yeah,
like that's not good. You would want each one to be able to perform the same minimum task.
When you're going to fight a war, you want high standards for people that are fighting a war. Now we can make the argument that we shouldn't be in as many wars, so we could have the standards really high and have a relatively small military that would be a defensive military, but ready for combat if necessary. But you should have really high standards. You should be in shape. You should be able to pass a health test and a fitness test that would make it to where you are combat ready or militarily ready. I mean, even if you're in a position in the military that's not combat, let's say you're not on the front lines, there could come a time where you could be on the front lines if necessary. Let's say if we were in a troop versus troop battle against China or, someone like that had millions of troops.
You just work somewhere on a base and the base gets attacked and,
what are you going to
somewhere
do?
we don't expect, something like that in the future. Sure. I know you got to go, so I wanted to do this last uplifting positive story when we get out of here. You guys know about the church shooting and burning that occurred on Sunday at the LDS Church in Michigan. The LDS has launched a Give, Sing, Go campaign for the church shooter's widow and family, which I think is cool. I'll just say it's pretty cool overall. And that Give, Sing, Go has raised $172,000 for the guy that went there and killed 4 people and injured several others because, as they recognized, this guy had a family. His family's not guilty. His family's left without a father and a husband, and that whoever else is in the family as well. And so even though there's a great tragedy that occurred and what this guy did was terrible, they still say, well, this guy had a family. It's not their fault.
His widow and child are innocent.
Mm-hmm. And so let's get together and raise money for them. And so I think that's pretty cool. Found that to be rather positive.
Now, is she a member of the church?
Let me see here. Oh, this person here? Well, that's not so. Okay,
no, I'm talking about the widow.
Oh, the widow. No, I don't. I would highly. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Actually, sorry, that goes back to some of the backstory on the guy. I hadn't looked fully into it. I believe he had an ex-wife potentially or something that was a member of the church. I don't remember specifically the details, so I'm going to get that wrong. I'm going to get the answer wrong on that. So that's all I have for you. I don't know if anyone else in the group has info on that, but hey, positive stuff, powerful stuff right there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Less hatred, more love towards other people, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, love and kindness. All right, y'all. Well, if you enjoyed today's episode, share it around. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go to godhatesfeds.com, pick up some merchandise, or click that button, Join GML. That takes you to joingml.com, where you can sign up to be part of the Fed Haters Club. Visit the links in the show notes to support the sponsors that support this show.
Charlie, you're about to go on a flight right now.
Yeah.
Just see, are the planes still operating? The government shut down.
They're less safe.
Well, yeah. I mean, are you feeling okay about
We don't
that?
have the essential FAA folks.
Do you have any parting words for everyone since you're about to leave us?
No, I have a hour's worth of podcasts people can go listen to, thousands of hours.
Mm-hmm. Just think when that happens, they're going to dig up every bad thing you ever said. We'll clip it out of context. Us making terrible jokes about terrible things happening. And say this POS doesn't deserve
a memorial
or any sorrow. Look at what this guy said back in 2019.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyhow, sorry, I just wanted I want to say bye to you publicly.
Just in case.
You've been a great friend at times.
Good.
Yeah.
What about other times?
At times, you've been a great friend. There were many. There were.
That's perfect. All right. Well, visit the links in the show notes to support the sponsors that support the show. If you do all of that, we'll be back again. Nate, we'll be back again tomorrow. Hope you have a good day and a good morning, Liberty.